Okay, so last time you saw this piece of wood was when we were doing the cage doorway for the sweet corn. So it's a little bit of 2x4 that's left over. I promised you I'd show you how to make a little mould from it. So here we go. So the first thing we've got to do is measure out a 4-inch length of this. So we've got a square. Just mark it with my pencil. I'm all fingers and thumbs today. There we go. So that's that, and then we've got to then cut that. So now we've got a square piece of wood. What we're just going to do is find the centre, pretty close to the centre. Put a couple of diagonals on. Whoa! Same here. And then we're going to go into the workshop and put a little tenon on, a little hole basically to hold that will do. So let's head through to the workshop. Okay, so just putting a Forstner bit into the drill press so we can put a little tenon, which is basically a hole in the back of the bowl blank, so we can grip it with the chuck. And then what we need to do is just, there we go, and you can see now how that's being gripped by the chuck, ready to do the bowl. And eventually what we'll do is we'll put another hole on here and turn it round so we do the other side. But first of all, let's just make sure that's nice and tight. Yep, that's good. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of the bowl. Okay, eventually, that's that. Let's bring the tailstock up for a bit of support, and put my safety glasses on. Okie doke. So that's a little bit low. Okay. So what we've now got to do is to start to shape the bowl. To get the circular shape, but that needs a little bit more. Okay, so the shape of that bowl is starting to come out now, you can see, so it just needs a bit of a tidy up. So I might use a scraper on it to smooth it a bit and then do the base, and then we'll turn it round. Okay, that's not too bad. Yes, that's better. That then needs a sand, so I'll do the sand in a minute. Let's do the base first. Okay, that's good. Now what we're going to do now is put the tenon on the other side of the bowl, put it into the base, So in a moment we can turn the bowl around to hollow it out. First of all, oh, wrong way, let's do that. So again, unlike an electric drill where the drill bit spins and the wood stays stationary, what happens here is the wood is spinning but the drill bit stays stationary. That's still very effective. So this is 400 grit sandpaper, very fine sandpaper now, 400 grit. With pine it's quite a hard wood to get a good finish on, although it's the soft wood, it tears easily. Getting a really smooth finish is quite difficult, so let's see what that looks like. Whew, there you go, that's not looking too bad. Isopropyl alcohol. So this just gets the sawdust out of the grain a little bit. Dries very quickly because it's alcohol, it evaporates. Now we clean the grain and it's looking quite good. So what I'm going to do now, before I do anything else, is just put a coat of oil on it.
So what sort of oil is it?
Well, it is Foods and Toy Safe Citrus Burnishing Oil by a company called Hampshire Sheen. I love the smell of it. I know you don't particularly like it. Bearing in mind this is just a piece of pine that would have normally been used in construction. The thing with pine is it can have quite a nice grain on it. As you can see, it's quite a coarse grain because it grows quickly, compared to something like yew, which is very slow growing and has a very, very fine grain. This looks alright, bit of fun. And what do we think to that? There we go. Looks quite nice actually.
It's got a bit of a sheen on it.
Yeah, a bit of a sheen. A bit of a Barry. Those of you old enough and English enough to know the reference.
So you're taking it off?
I am, yes, and then we're going to turn it around now, put it like that. And then what we're going to do is hollow out the inside, make a bowl. And this is where being left-handed is a bit of a problem with a lathe. except with some lathes like this record power one, you can turn the whole headstock, which then means I can turn bowls easily, because when you're left-handed, trying to turn them on a lathe that doesn't have a turning headstock is really hard. But it is for me. Let's try that. Let's try. Oh, mess me about. Right, so let's have a look so far. There we go. There's a slight little dish, and it's got slight flat spots on the side because of the square nature of the wood. So that's coming on. I do need to do a little bit more of that. Right, a little bit of a dishy bowl. What do you think? Probably go a little bit deeper. You've got to be careful you don't go so deep that you go right through the wood, because remember you've got a tenon the other side as well. So I have done that. I have got over enthusiastic and ended up taking too much off. Let's try that a little bit more, I think. Okay, so let's give that a quick sand. just cleaning off the sawdust again on the inside. That's got quite a nice grain, hasn't it, for a piece of pine? Let's turn off R2D2, the dust looks like that, and you can see it a bit better there. Right, now we need a bit of oil. So again, same burnishing oil. You could use friction polish on here if you wanted. The thing with the burnishing oil is it's food and child safe, and toy safe, so not that this is particularly a toy, but it does mean that, you know, you put food into it if you want to. You know, peanuts or something in there. So there we go. I think that's about done there, Al. That's about done. So there we go.
Very nice.
Got a little sheen to it. It's got quite a nice grain, hasn't it, for pine?
It's quite light.
Yeah, very
Oh,
light.
it's very light.
Light. So let's just head out into the sunshine, do the window test. And we went from that to this. There we go. And just to finish off this video on making the bowl, right at the very end what we've done is we filled the tenon on the bottom of the bowl with some coloured epoxy resin just to fill it in and finish it off. So there you go.